Well, I think the bigger story than the decline of gold is what's actually happened to the gold.
Yes.
You could go into a vault in London a couple of years ago, and they were packed to the rafters with gold, and the gold would trade from me to you to somebody else. You can walk in those vaults today, and they're virtually empty. All that gold has been transferred out of London, 26 million ounces. It's gone to Switzerland, where it's been recast into a higher grade and shipped off to Hong Kong, and then into China, never to return. So the most interesting thing, especially as we look into 2014, is if there ever is interest in gold again, I'm not saying there is or isn't, that gold is just not there anymore. It's really amazing. They're building these 2,000 metric ton vaults for gold all over Asia. And the Chinese, they don't want to have US dollars anymore. They want to have gold.
Yeah, and gold's run, the longest run since, what, 1929?
Oh, it was incredible.
Might come to an end. I mean, it's only got a few more days to turn it around. It seems like it's come to an end.
Yeah, $700 in a couple days. It would be very, very
miracle.
We would need the Nutcracker to come here and dance around that. No, it's going to end this year.
Yeah.
But I think what's interesting is just, you know, if we look at iron ore, for example, as a commodity, every analyst got it wrong. China was the reason why every analyst got it wrong. If we look at why copper has been really rebounding strongly lately, it's China's having a pretty good run. Although I must say, we run some proprietary numbers in the Chinese economy, and starting mid-October, they fell off a cliff. Now, could it be they were worried about the third plenum, and so the economy started to slow? But these numbers were showing really good numbers earlier in the year, particularly as we got into July and August. And all of a sudden, they just fell off a cliff in the past few weeks. It'll be really interesting. The beginning of the year for China could be very interesting, and we'll have to watch those numbers to see if things come back.
Yeah, I mean, tell us more about the third plenum in China and what that does mean for the rest of the world, because we recently spoke to a stock picking investor who was saying he wasn't picking things in the FTSE 100 because there was too much exposure to metals and mining companies. If that's so front and center as an investment theme for 2014, what are you seeing in the sort of nuts and bolts of where the mining?
Everybody we talk to about China and the third plenum thinks it's a game changer. It's going to just completely change the way they view investments. So right now they're bulldozing steel mills, they're bulldozing aluminum smelters that were very unprofitable. They never did that before. So that's going to be a big change. They're shutting down these unprofitable state-owned industries at a massive clip. If they really start to do this, it's a great opportunity for investors outside. And there were really bright spots in metals mining. It's sort of hard to find, but you know, platinum, we talked about South Africa, that was very good. Copper's had a pretty good run here towards the end of the year. Iron ore, just, you know, nobody called iron ore this year. It was a really interesting area. So, you know, while there were some really damaging parts, and the stocks clearly have underperformed the market by a huge amount, there were some really good spots.